I'm done with the fix. It was a silly mistake. So here I was defining the age to be a byte. That's why I got the error, even though I'm reading an integer. I also made a change here. C, I defined it as a string. Okay, and I'll show you why now. This way you can actually make the user enter the B or the E, either capital or small. It will work anyways. Okay, so those are the two small changes. So here now the get ticket price, it takes an age as an integer and it takes a C as a string, right? So let's go through it again. I initialize the original price by 0. I put the actual price that is going to be paid by 0. Why do I put them 0? If I tell you get a jar, put 1 liter of water in the jar, and then 2 liters of water in the jar, and then 3 liters of water in the jar. How many liters do you have in the jar? So 1, you added 1, and then 2, and then 3. So the number of, like how many liters in the jar, I'm waiting for 30 seconds for your answer. So it's 1, you added 1 in the jar, 2 in the jar, 3 in the jar. So how many liters in the jar? Quite sure all of you said 6 liters, right? Which is a wrong answer. Yes, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. That's right. But the jar might not have 6. Why is this? Because I never said that the jar is empty, right? I never said that the jar is empty initially from the beginning, right? So in order to make sure that what the jar has is 6, when you put 1, then 2, then 3, you have to first make sure that the jar is empty. How would you make sure that the jar is empty? You put the variable equals 0 to basically get the correct answers. All right. Then here, I'm saying, sorry, let's equals, easier, equals. Okay, let's not go for the content now. Okay, so C dot equals of B, so this means C equals B. That's how we compare strings. Because C is a string now, we compare it with equal. If you write equal, equal, it will not work unless it's the exact same string. So now you learn something new. C dot equals of B. And B, because it's a string now, it's written in 2 double dashes. Then what I do here is I put the original price of 2,000, and then if the age is less than 2, put the price equals 0. Else, don't forget the else, if the age is between 2 and 10, so it's greater than or equal to, and less than 10, so 10 is not included, price is 50%. If the age is greater than or equal 10 and less than 18, then it's 80%, don't forget the else. Else if age is greater than 18 and less than 65, so 65 is not included, price is the original price, so in this case it's 2,000. If it's greater than or equal 65, which means it's senior, then the price is 70% of the original price. All those cases are if it's business. We do the same for the economy, for the E, right? So the original price is 1,200. If the age is less than 2, the price is 0. If the age between 2 and 10, the price is 0.3. If the age between 10 and 18, the price is 70%. If it's 18 and 65, this is the original price. If it is senior, then 0.5, half of the price. Let's run it. Now that you run it, it will ask you about the class. Now B, note that B is small. If you write it capital, it will not work. I'll show you in a second run. So now I chose business as an example. Here, it's asking for the age, let's say 41. So this is the price, 2,000, because it's full full price. Okay, let's run it again. I'll say business and 67. So that's senior, right? So they shouldn't be paying the 2000, right? Now they're paying 1400 because there is 70% off the original price. Now let's run it again and write B capital, sorry, here. Okay, enter the age. Now look at the price, 0. Why is it? Because B capital is not known. So how will I fix this problem? Before I do any comparisons, you can say C equal C2 lower case. What does it mean, lower case? You know, it's small letters, not capital. So regardless how the user enters it, it will be small, right? He can enter it capital, small, whatever. It's gonna be small. Now, if I run it, and then I enter the business class or economy class, here is economy class as a capital letter, which is not defined here as capital, as you can see here when I'm testing the C here, B as small and E as small. Here E small and here B as small, right? I'm entering here as capital and I'm gonna say the age is 9 years old. All right. So it gives you the price with the discount, even though you entered E capital Y. It doesn't matter how the user entered it. It's going to be small anyways, because what you say here is, as you can see, the new C equals the old C dot lowercase. So regardless what the old value of the C is, it's going to be now a lowercase string. All right. So here is the example of the ticketing, get ticket price. Let's, as an example, convert digit. So I want to convert digits 0. I write 0, Z-E-R-O. So when the number is 0, I write like Z-E-R-O. When it's 1, I write 0 like O-N-E and so on, all right? How will we be doing this? I return a string because I return a word. Let's call the function convert convert digit to word, something like this. So I take an integer, which is 1 digit, and I return, okay, and let's call it X. All right. Here I return, for now, just this. I'll change it later. Okay, return. So the error is gone. Okay, now the X could be either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because we're converting a digit. More than this, it's no longer a digit, right? Even minus one of those is no longer a digit, right? So what we're going to be doing here is I want to test this. How will I test it? You can do it the same way. If X equal 0, return the word 0. So I can write it this way. I'll show you one statement. Okay, if X equal 0, I return the string 0, right? Else, if x equal 1, I'll return the string 1, right? And so on, right? Else if x equal 2, blah, 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 until the 9. You can do that. There is an easier way to do it. Since the numbers you're looking for are integer, they're in sequence, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a sequence, right? It's ordered. Then you can use another statement. It's called switch. Switch case. So here is the switch, like this. Okay, switch. And here you say case 0. This is equivalent to if x equals 0. So switch x, you see switch x, case 0, what we're going to be doing, return 0. Okay? Usually we write break. In this case, you don't need it because of the return, but I'll write it for the good practice. It's unreachable code. It doesn't even allow me to write it. Like, okay, let me write it differently. String to be returned. To be returned, that's a string. Okay, equals nothing in the beginning. All right, here is the semicolon. And then to be returned in this case, instead of return, I'll say to be returned equal 0. Now the break works. Okay, because return is the last statement of the function. That's why we cannot write break after it. Here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here are the digits. Let me, of course, it's breaking because you cannot repeat the same number here twice. When I change them to the right numbers, the error will be gone. Because you cannot repeat the choices. Cases are choices. You cannot repeat the same choice more than once. The default, what is the default? If none of those choices works, the default work, okay? I can write here the default statement, and the default statement is gonna be not a digit. What does it mean? If it will go for the 0, it will have to be returned as 0 and get out of this switch. If it's a 1, it will get out. 2, it will get out, and so on. If none of those are chosen, the default is being chosen, and it will execute this and then get out. What is the difference between switch and if statement? If statement is done sequentially. Theoretically speaking, the switch is done in parallel. Okay. Now we're going to be returning to be returned. So you assign it and then return the value. Okay. Now let's take convert digit to word. Let's go to the main here. Okay. I'll also disable this. We don't need it anymore. We already have tested it. So I can now, let's say, system.out.print. I'll print the convert here. Let's read a number and x equal. Let's get a scanner here. Okay. And here int x is sc.next int. So I'm reading this from the user, and then I'm sending the x to be converted. Okay. Here it is in the column. And let's hear. Probably I forgot something important. Yes, I forgot the word static, remember? That's why it was giving me an error. That's why it was giving me an error. Now there's no error. Okay. All right. Let's, for readability, let's print a message here. Enter a digit. Enter a digit. Let's run it. So enter a digit. Let's say 7. Here. Oh, I forgot to change the words, eh? Let's go here. Yeah, it's all 0. Let's change this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oops, 9. All right, let's try it again. So enter the digit. Let's say 7. Now it says 7. Do you see? Run it again. Let's say 12. Do you see? Not a digit. The default worked because none of those were picked. How about the negative? -5. Not a digit. All right, so here is the switch. I'll finish this now and I'll continue in the next video.